Hi, everyone. Welcome to our classes online. We are going to be continuing with our big question of how are animals different. So for today's presentation, I brought a special guest. This is my friend Oliver. He is an example of an animal, and he's been keeping me company for these past couple of weeks. So I know you've all gotten to see many pictures of him. Now you get to meet him in real life. Say hello, Oliver. Hi. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to continue to talk about what makes every animal special. So let's take a look at some of the animals that are in our screen right now. We have over here an animal that I think some of us know. There's a little pig. Anyone know what this animal is? If you said eagle, you are correct. How about this one? This one's a little bit harder. It's a hippopotamus. I think that's a little baby hippo. It's pretty cute. Over here, we have a type of, it's kind of like a bear. It's called a koala. Hard to see his nose. I think my screen thing is in the way. Up here, we have a snake. We have a shark. I don't want to scare anybody at home, but I thought he looked like he was smiling in that photo, so it seemed a little less intimidating. And then finally, this animal right here is called a praying mantis. So these are some examples of different animals. These animals live in different places, they do different things, and they have different features. I don't know if we remember, but we talked a lot about features last month in class. What is a feature? A feature is one thing that you could use, or many things that you could use to describe an animal. So for example, one feature of Oliver is he has fur. That's the kind of hair that he has. He has fur. He also has ears. Every animal has different features, and there are many different features. One of my favorite features on Oliver are his spots. So he has black spots on his white fur. Let's get started. So, I'm still getting used to how this works, so please forgive me. Okay, we're going to review our vocabulary for the parts of an animal. We're going to sing our favorite song. I love this song. I hope you all remember it because it's my absolute favorite. And then we're going to talk about the naming part and the telling part in a sentence. Using the different animal features that we are learning about, we're going to start making some complete sentences about animals. And by the end of this lesson, you're going to get the opportunity to do a little bit of writing. So if you want to grab a piece of paper, you might want it towards the end, but I'll give you some time later if you haven't yet. All right, so here are some of our vocabulary words. This first picture, this is a flamingo. This flamingo has two unique or special features. One thing that they have is a beak. Do you have a beak? I don't think so. I don't have a beak either. I have a mouth. The flamingo has a beak. Most birds have a beak. They also have feathers. Their feathers are pink. We've talked a lot about how they eat a lot of pink shrimp, and so they have pink feathers. But feathers can really be any different color. If we look at that eagle on our first page, that eagle also has many different feathers, but it's a different color than the flamingo. Our next animal is an alligator. This alligator has a mouth. Its mouth is a little different. One feature in its mouth is its sharp teeth, but it does have a mouth. It also has a tail, and on that tail, on its entire body, it has scales. Can you think of another animal that has scales? I'll give you a clue. There was one in our classroom that we got to look at. That animal is a fish. So a fish also has scales. Lots of animals have scales, but an alligator and a fish are two examples. And finally, we have this animal right here, a tiger. A tiger has four what's called paws. We don't call them feet with a tiger. We say they have paws. There are a lot of animals that have paws. One of them is a dog. Cats also have paws. Tigers have paws. Lions have paws. They're a little different than feet. And then they also have fur, that nice soft hair that you might find on like a cat or a tiger or something like that. You don't have fur, you have hair, so it's a little different. So we look at these different parts and the coverings of an animal, and we know that they're different. Take a minute. How are they different? What do you notice that's different about these animals on this page? You can take a second. If I ever ask you questions on here, you're welcome to pause, think about it, talk about it with someone in the room, think about it in your brain, whatever works for you. All right, the time has come for our favorite song. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip out of here for a moment, bring up our song, and I hope you'll sing along with us. Remember, they're going to sing it, then they're going to help us practice it, and then we're going to sing it all together. So this song is called Legs, and it's more of a chant. Feel free to dance, snap, clap, whatever works for you.
Listen to this chant. It is called Legs.
I like to snap.
Flamingos have legs, and alligators do too. Alligators have 4 legs, but flamingos have 2.
Now say the words after the speaker.
Flamingos have legs,
Flamingos have legs,
and alligators do too.
and alligators do too.
Alligators have 4 legs,
Alligators have 4 legs,
but flamingos have 2.
but flamingos have 2.
Now let's say the chant together. Say the words along with the speaker.
Here we go, everybody singing. Flamingos have legs, and alligators do too. Alligators have 4 legs, but flamingos have 2. Nice job. I hope y'all got the chance to sing along. If you want to repeat it, feel free, rewind, do it again. Why not? So one thing we're going to talk about is how are flamingos and alligators the same and how are they different? Take a moment to think about what is the same about an alligator and a flamingo. Not everything, but there are a couple things. One of those things, and they mention it is in our song, is they have legs. The flamingo, you can see, has legs, and an alligator has legs. But that's also kind of how they're different. Now, there's many differences. I think the things that are different are probably easier to find. But one thing that's different that they mention in our song is how many legs does an alligator have? If you said 4, you were correct. How many legs does a flamingo have? If you said 2, you are correct. And sometimes they stand and it makes it look like they only have 1 leg, but they have 2. There's also a few other differences. They have different colors. They are different sizes. They live in different places. They have different features, such as a flamingo might have wings, an alligator has scales. Many different things we could say here. Okay, so we're kind of going to switch gears, so turn your brain. We're going to start talking about sentences, and we're going to use what we know about these animals to create some sentences. So a sentence tells us a complete thought. If I just say an alligator's tail, that's not a sentence. You'd think to yourself, what about it? An alligator's tail does what? Well, if I want to make it a sentence, I'm going to say an alligator's tail is long. You say, oh, okay. That is a sentence. But why? So let's look at these sentences and we're going to think which group of words is a sentence. And I want you to think about how you know that. Because sometimes we hear it and we say, I don't think that's a sentence, but I'm not sure why. So think about how you might know that. Let's look at number 1. Number 1 says, leap up. Is that a complete sentence? Kind of seems like something's missing, right? Who's leaping? What? We know what they're doing. They're leaping. I don't know who. Is it you? Is it your friend? Is it a squirrel? Is it a dog? I have no idea. So it is not a complete sentence because it doesn't tell us who or what is leaping. Let's look at number 2. Tails help alligators leap up to catch food. Oh, is that a complete sentence? Well, yeah. So tails help alligators. What do they help them do? They help them leap up to catch food. Did you know that alligators use their tails to get food? Learn something from this one every day. All right, let's look at some more examples. This is a complete sentence. See if you can read with me. A tiger moves its big paws. Again, a tiger moves its big paws. This is what's happening. Here's the tiger. He's moving a paws. This sentence is complete. It has what's called the naming part, the tiger, and the telling part, moving its big paws. The naming part tells us who's doing something, and the telling part tells us what they're doing. Sometimes we call this the subject and the predicate, but for today we're going to call it the naming part and the telling part. And I'll give you a clue. The naming part is usually a noun. It's always a noun. And the telling part might have some nouns in it, but it also contains a verb or an action word. So the tiger is the noun, and it's moving is the verb, the action word, moving its big paws. Nice. Let's look at some more. All right. Their friends went home. Is this a complete sentence? Well, does it have a naming part? What's the naming part? Who is doing the action in this sentence? If you said their friends, you're right. And what are their friends doing? I'll read it again. Their friends went home. They went home. That's what they did. Their friends went home. We have a complete sentence. We have a naming part and we have a telling part. Now, something was missing from my sentence. What things were missing? Because this was a complete sentence, but we needed something else. What do you notice about this beginning letter that I changed? It's a capital letter. I changed my T from a small t to a capital T. And then I also added something at the end. Those are two changes and two things that you need to make a sentence. You need a capital letter, you need a period or another ending mark, and then you need a naming part and a telling part. All right, I think we're ready to look at some sentences. So, excuse me. Again, this just kind of repeats what I was saying. This is saying that to have a sentence, you need to start with a capital letter. You need to end with an ending mark like a period. So this sentence says, alligator tails can be 10 feet long. It starts with a capital letter. It ends with a period. It has a naming part, the alligator tails, and it tells you that they can be 10 feet long. So here are some other ending marks, and I think my little screen thing down here might get in the way. Here's one. Does anyone know what this is called? This is a period. So we should know that one pretty much by heart by now. That's the one we use the most. But we also have this. This is called a question mark. Hang on, back it up a second. This is called an exclamation point or an exclamation mark. We might use this at the end of a sentence if we show excitement. So I might say, alligator tails can be 10 feet long. And then I would use an exclamation mark. And finally, I gave it away, I know. The last ending mark is a question mark. We would put this in a question. So think about a question that you might ask someone like, are you hungry? Or what's your favorite color? Or where do you like to go on the weekend? Those are all questions. And they would end with a question mark. Think about a question that you might ask someone. All right, here's two sentences. Let's see. The alligator has big teeth. Our naming part is the alligator. Our telling part is has big teeth, but it's missing some things. It needs a capital letter at the beginning and a period at the end. Let's look at the next one. The flamingo has a beak. It's missing something there. Capital letter and, you guessed it, a period. Okay, here's your activity. So here's where you might want a piece of paper. You are going to create 5 sentences using these parts that are in front of you on the screen. So there are some naming parts, and I'll give you a clue. Most of the naming parts have animals, and then the telling parts are something that you know about that animal. So I'm going to start by choosing the monkey. The monkey has fur. So I could have said the monkey has a tail. I could have said the monkey can climb or can run or has a mouth, but I chose has fur. The monkey has fur. Let's see if we can turn that into a complete sentence and write it. All right, I put them in order. The monkey has fur. I'm going to start with the first word. My first word is the. What do you need at the beginning of a sentence? If you said a capital letter, then you are correct. Make sure that the first letter is capital. The. After I write the next word I'm going to write is monkey. But anytime you're doing writing, what do you need between your words? You need a finger space. Make sure that when you're writing on your paper, it's okay if your paper's not lined, but you still need space between your words. Use your finger and then write your next word, monkey. So I have the monkey, and then I'm going to say has fur. I need another finger space. I'm going to write the word has. Feel free to pause if you need to at any point to write. I'm going to put another finger space, and I'm going to write my last word, fur. So my sentence says, the monkey has fur. Am I all done? No, I'm not. I forgot a period. Make sure you have a period at the end of your sentence. And if you need to check your work, here's a little check. You got to make sure that you have finger spaces between your words. Got it. I have a capital letter at the beginning. Boom, nailed it. And then at the bottom here, I don't know if you can see it because I think it's blocked, but it says that I have an ending mark. So either a period, an exclamation point, or a question mark. And I have that too. Let's try one more together. All right, I already used those two. So now I'm going to use the elephant. That's going to be my naming part. Has a tail. Okay, do elephants have tails? Yes, they do. The elephant has a tail. All right, has a tail, the elephant. Here we go. Has a tail, the elephant. Sounds a little weird. What did I do wrong? I wrote, has a tail, the elephant. Did I do it right? No, I have to put my naming part first. I switched it. I did it backwards. Here's my telling part, and there's my naming part. You have to make sure that your naming part comes first. So I'm going to switch them, and I'm going to change it to the elephant has a tail. Let's write it. Make sure you start with a capital letter, and yours should look something like this. The, finger space, elephant, finger space, has, finger space, a, finger space, tail. And then you're going to end with a period. Check your work. Make sure you have finger spaces, a capital letter at the beginning, and then again, I don't know if you can see it, but some kind of ending mark. All right. Now it's your turn. So this is your task that you're going to do by yourself. You need to choose a naming part. You could choose the giraffe, the tiger, the snake, and you need to tell me about them. Now, would you write the giraffe can climb? Probably not. They don't really climb. So you could maybe write the giraffe can run, or the giraffe has a mouth. See if you can match the correct naming part to a telling part, and then make 3 more sentences because you have 3 more subjects. Make sure once you've written your sentences that you check your work. Do you have finger spaces between your words? Did you start with a capital letter? And do you have an ending mark at the end? I am so excited to see everything that you come up with. Please feel free to send me a picture of your work, put it on Seesaw, however is easiest for you to get your work to me. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Take your time, write neatly, and take care of yourselves. Be healthy, be well, and we'll talk to each other soon. All right. Bye. Bye, y'all. See y'all.